Hi, good morning to everyone. In this session, we have to discuss about characterization of nanomaterials. So, first one is the bed theory. This theory was developed by Stephen Brunner, Paul Emmett, and Edward Teller. So, first letter of these three names have been put together to call this theory as a bed theory. So, this theory is used to analyze the surface area of the nanomaterials. So, maximum nanomaterials are solid materials. They may have some pores. So, we have to know about the pore volume. It may be a nano or it may be meso. That means pores may be a nanopores or a mesopores. To analyze this, we need this theory. So, in this theory, that gas absorption of gases on the surface of the solid has been used as a analyzing method or a experimental method. So, mostly we know that interaction between gas and solid is very weak. When compared to other gases, nitrogen gas is having somewhat strong interaction with the solid nanomaterials. So, we have to use nitrogen gas here. So, that procedure is explained now. So, in this sample cell, we are taking that solid nanomaterial. That means nanomaterial whose surface has to be discovered. That's not nanomaterial we have to put here. So, here we have to keep some vacuum. That means that pressure inside the chamber should be less than the external pressure. That means atmospheric pressure. So, we have to cool this sample and we have to make some vacuum. Then we have to pass known volume of nitrogen. So, now that means that initial volume of nitrogen gas has to be noted before when it is sending through the this pipe. So, that nitrogen is now starts to absorb on the surface of the solid material. So, now after some time that absorption process, that means absorption of nitrogen on the surface of this nanomaterial, solid nanomaterial will be saturated. After saturation, we have to remove that atmosphere, nitrogen atmosphere, then we have to heat this sample. So, now that absorbed nitrogen now starts to dissolve. Okay. So, now it has to be coming out, desorption. Initially that was absorbed, now it has to be dissolved. So, that nitrogen gas is coming out from the surface of the solid nanomaterials as a desorption process. So, this absorption as well as desorption gives some data. So, these data are collected as a bed isotherm. So, now we have to plot that gas absorbed as a function of relative pressure. So, this is called as a bed equation. From this equation, we have to calculate the surface area of the sample. So, next one is scanning electron microscope. This is the technique which is used for material characterization, and high energy electrons are used to generate variety of signals from the solid surface. And here this scanning electron microscope is used to analyze surface morphology, chemical composition and crystalline nature of some solid materials. And this is the working principle. Here electronic source is placed at the top of the column. This electronic source is used to generate high energy beam of electrons, and these electrons are attracted and accelerated by positive charged anode. And here we are using optical lenses which is made up of glasses. These electrons are unreactive towards glasses, that's why we are using optical lenses here. These optical lenses are used to control this pathway of electrons. These optical lenses consist of condenser lens, coil lens, can coils and objective lens. Condenser lenses are used to control the size of the beam, and scan coils generate the electromagnetic field, that means magnetic field which is more sensitive to the electrons, and objective lens focuses these electronic beams on the sample. After that focusing, these electronic beams are striking the sample. After striking, two different kind of electrons are scattered. One is the backscattered electrons, another one is the secondary electrons. These backscattered electrons are originated from the depth of the sample, and the secondary electrons are originated from the surface of the sample. These backscattered as well as secondary electrons are detected by the respective detectors. Here that detectors for backscattered electrons are kept above the sample, and detectors for secondary electrons are kept at sideways of the path of the electronic beam. So, these respective detectors collect the respective electrons, and these electrons gives the perfect image of the surface of the material in a computer monitor. Okay, this is the working principle. The next one is applications. In case of material science, this scanning electron microscope technique is used for quality control and failure analysis, and it is used to characterize the gas sensing behavior of nanowires. and it is used to find out the composition of the semiconductors, and in case of forensic investigations, this technique can be used to analyze the gunshot residue and examination of jewelry, and it is used to find the bullet marking and handwriting printing analysis. And in case of geology, this technique is used to find out the chemical composition as well as structure of the solid materials. Next one, we are going to discuss about principles of transmission electron microscope. In this transmission electron microscope, electronic gun is placed at the top of the column. This electronic gun releases electrons. That condenser lenses are used to focus that incoming beam towards the surface of the sample, and one portion of that incoming electronic beam is now transmitted through the sample. So the transmission depends upon the size of the thickness of the specimen. So transmitted electrons are now focused by the subjective lens, and that objective aperture is used to filter the highly diffracted electrons, and it enhances the contrast of that transmitted electronic beam, and it gives the image. That image is now going down to the phosphorus screen. So it generates that lights on the phosphorus screen. So that dark area of that phosphorus screen corresponds to less number of transmitted electrons, and lighter area of that phosphorus screen corresponds to highly transmitted electrons. This is the working functional. Next one is the TEM applications. So these TEM applications are used for analysis of morphology and composition and crystalline information of particular samples, and it allows researchers to view the samples on molecular level, and it is used for further studies of crystals and metals in industries, and this term is used for semiconductor analysis, especially in the manufacture of computer and silicon chips, and this term is used to identify flaws, fractures and damages in micro-sized objects. So this is the important principles and applications of STEM and TEM.